What we learned in YouTube? Well, we're learning that it's not a good idea to text and drive. Hope they're okay. It's a Nissan, so who cares? Anyways, so tonight, I want to talk about a case that I've been kind of sort of following during the trial, and that's of course of XXX Tentacion, real name Jose Onfroy. He was a pretty well-known rapper. I never heard of him until he was killed, but that doesn't mean anything. I'm an old man, and he was quite popular, probably with a lot of your sons and daughters out there if they're around the age of 25 or under. So, of course, if you guys don't know, on June 18th of 2018, XXX went to looks like a motorcycle dealership because he wanted to buy one of those three-wheel front-driven trikes. So he goes into the dealership, he leaves, goes to a bank, withdraws $50,000 cash because he has every intention on buying at least one. With $50,000, I guess he was buying two. And I'm assuming he didn't end up buying anything, and he's with his uncle at the time, some family related person. And he goes into his car, and as he's pulling out, of course, he's robbed by two guys, and eventually he's shot and killed. Now, the trial just concluded 5 years later, and Michael Boatwright, 27, Dedrick Williams, 26, and Trayvon Newsom, 24, have all been found guilty of first-degree murder. Their sentencing is going to take place, I believe, April 6th, sometime in the beginning of April. And their other person that was with them, I believe his name is Robert Allen. He took a deal immediately. Robert Allen is the heavyset guy. So they're going to come back to court, get sentenced, and more than likely, they're not going to get out of prison for a very, very long time. I could see them getting out of prison eventually down the road. It's going to be about 50 years. They're going to have to get some pardons from the governor or whatever it is that they're going to do to get those guys out of prison. Now, rightfully so, if it was up to me, those three would never ever get out of prison. The other guy, I don't know. I don't know too much about him. But I got a couple questions to ask anybody out there, if you're listening to me right now as I'm walking around this store. My first question is as follows. Robert Allen, during his testimony, was telling the other guys that he was like, hey, this is a bad idea about robbing him because we're walking around on camera in this dealership. We're going to be identified and we're going to get caught. He didn't want to commit this crime. But it looked like Dedrick Williams was the ringleader. He was the one that was pretty much telling everybody, oh, you're scared? Oh, what are you doing? You're a punk? It was funny because they claimed that he was the ringleader, but Michael Boatwright was the one that actually pulled the trigger, shooting Tentacion twice in the neck, killing him. So these knuckleheads robbed him for the $50,000, and of course they, posted pictures of them, with the money on social media, a bunch of dingbats. I think they were caught about 2 or 3 weeks later. But here's my question. Number one, if you're gonna rob this guy for $50,000, why do you only give $5,000 to Robert Allen? Aren't you gonna be afraid that he's gonna end up snitching on you, which he did? I'm not gonna ask myself or anybody out there, why would these morons have done this in the first place? Obviously, they're gonna get caught. Now, I'm probably gonna guess they didn't know they were gonna shoot him. They probably thought they were gonna stick the gun right in his face. He was gonna give them the money, and they would have been off, scot-free and, celebrating or what have you. And in hindsight, Tentacion, when he had that gun in his face, what he should have done, and this is, of course, hindsight, he should have just gave him the money. And everybody out there, if you're going to get robbed and something like that happens to you, just go ahead and give him the money. And that guy was so doing so well in his life, he probably could have done a couple concerts and made that money back. But he chose to put up a fight. Unfortunately, his instincts kicked in because he said, I'm not going to be a victim, and they took his life. But I got a question that I don't believe I've heard anybody say anything about, and that is, why did XXX Tentacion, why didn't he just use a credit card to buy whatever it is that he wanted to buy? Because remember, he ended up not buying anything. I don't understand. Why didn't he just use a credit card? I mean, doesn't he have credit? I mean, he's making quite a bit of money. I mean, look at the car that he was in. That was like a $100,000 car? Now, I don't know if it's rented or if he's, leasing it or whatever. It doesn't matter. That was a cool car he was in. And he had the $50,000 in his bank account to buy those motorcycles. So I'm imagining that he has quite a bit more money like that in the bank. Well, at least hopefully anyways. But I don't understand, his uncle or whoever that guy was that was with him when he got killed. How come he just didn't tell him, because that guy looked like he's at least 35, 40 years of age. He could have told him, hey, listen, it's probably not a good idea to have large amounts of cash on you, because you never know. You could leave the bag, you can get robbed, which is what happened. Why don't you just go ahead and just, figure out another way to pay for this motorcycle? But it seemed like the people that were around him weren't giving him any kind of sound advice. Because if I were there with him, me personally, I don't think I would have let him take out that money. I would have been like, yo, we're going to have to build out your credit or something. You can't be carrying that kind of cash. And that hip-hop culture, very flashy, excess, I mean, it's really just, between me and you, it's really just a toxic culture. It's just a toxic culture filled with disrespect, death, envy, greed, disrespect. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of sad, that kid, young kid, he worked hard. He was talented, and, you are rewarded for your talents, and his life was taken away from him by 4 knuckleheads. I don't know. It's never a good idea to take out that kind of money when you are out there, trying to floss or whatever. I'm tired of these rappers holding these big stacks of cash and their stupid music videos. I'm waiting for the rapper that holds out a credit card. I want to see what's that black card, the American Express? Yeah, the black card. I don't want to see useless stacks of cash. I want to see a black card. That's it. That's all you need. I don't need to carry money. I don't need to show you what I have or what I want to pretend what I have to show you that I'm this and that of my stupid, useless jewelry. All that jewelry that they have on their necks and in their teeth and on their fingers, it's really useless. Because if you buy a chain for $100,000, as soon as you walk outside that door of the jeweler who made it for you, that chain is worth $65,000, $70,000 at the most. Anyways, guys, leave a comment below. Tell me what you think about the whole case. Tell me what your favorite XXX Tentacion song is. I like that one that he did with Lil Peep. I guess it was a remix. All right, guys, I gotta go. I've been here long enough. Catch up with you later. It's sushi time. Peace out.